helpful thing to be able to do there. Once you've done that, you can then just go in. Seems to be a delay on my slides. Is that coming through okay? Can you see my second slide, Graham?
Yeah, I can.
Why it's not. It's just not updating on the grid view, that's all. Can you all see the fish? Give me a thumbs up. No?
No.
Okay. Let's try it again then. Apologies all. The pressure's on. Okay, we should be good now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it seems to have appeared, Rachel.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So this is just one example that I did with my students previously when we were doing a collaborative fact finding. So I set this up for the students and I asked them to simply go and search for a picture and then use the sticky notes to be able to add facts in. So they're just simply able to go in and add a sticky note fact in. And then we did this collaboratively. So what I did was I set up a slide for each of my students to be able to work on so that they could put their content in one location rather than having it sort of all over the place. What's really nice about this is that obviously when they go into the assistive drawing tools as well, is that you've got that auto draw function, which is probably my favorite feature within Jamboard because I'm not a very good drawer. And what this allows me to do is to very quickly draw a picture and then I get some beautiful pictures that are well illustrated drawings that I can actually use straight away. And then equally, I can move that wherever I want on my screen like so. So I'm just going to take you through a few various different examples here. So I was just on Twinkle earlier looking at some sort of material that would be relevant. I do apologize, I'm giving you a side profile as well. It's just easier to be able to operate like this. So I've just downloaded Queen's Birthday PDF and a slide deck here. And what's really nice within Jamboard is being able to sort of resize those slides, but also then to just reposition them off. And bring in another one. So this is just another one of those slides there. And I can zoom that in so it's nice and big on the screen there. And I can go ahead and use that laser pointer. So I can say that's Queen Elizabeth there. And I can go through, was born on the 21st of April, 1926. So for my younger students, I'm able to actually go on and use that laser pointer to highlight as I read through it, but also to sort of point out any key information. I might say, do you know what this is? Why might you be wearing one of those? What's significant? Why is she Queen Elizabeth II? So I can start to use that laser pointer in a nice way to be able to highlight any key information. In the pen tool at the top there, obviously I mentioned that assistive drawing tools. You'll also notice that you have just a standard pen. So if you wanted to underline any information there, I can go ahead and do that. I've also got sort of a thicker pen. So if I wanted to highlight some key information, I've got that ability to do that as well as that highlighter. So if I wanted to maybe talk about her middle name, I could do that as well. So that's one of the options you can do there where you're going through and annotating on a slide there. Now, equally, I can go and put that to the side and come back to that slide deck. Now, you'll see here that if I just use the arrow, that allows me to move any content around. So I've got the slide deck here. and I can just expand that out. What that allows me to then do is go through and I can select one of them and pull it out and then make it bigger. So I no longer have to just have all of the slides ready to go. I can keep that sitting in the background there and just pull out as and when I need during a lesson. So it's a nice way, if all of that content is in your drive, then you can upload that really easily as well. So for example, all I do to do that is just tap on that plus sign and then tap on drive content, and I can just go into my drive, and you'll see there I've got that slide there. I've also got the Queen's birthday. Now that's a PDF, so I'm just going to go and add that in now, and you'll see that that PDF then appears at the top. If I want to just move that off the screen and tap on to that PDF, again, all I need to do is tap on it once and then use expand, and then you'll see there that I can easily go through and scroll to find the page that I'm looking for. I'm going to use the first one, and again, equally, I can press the X, and if I want to get rid of that, I can just drag it to the bottom of the screen and that will remove it. If I want to keep it there to refer back to, so if I want to add any additional content later on, I've always got that to refer back to. Again, just tap onto it and then I can zoom in onto the screen. So again, just a simple PDF here that I want to use. I'm just going to get rid of all of those things there, so I've got some working space. And again, just quickly tidy up my screen here. So you'll see here, I've got a Queen's birthday letter writing template, and I can start to write in any information that I wanted to. So I can use the assistive drawing tools, which will take text to text. So if I wanted to, for example, do Dear Graham, I can go ahead and that will then take my writing, and I can pop that in, and then I can just pinch to resize it and pop it in like so. And I can go ahead and start to do that as I work through that written letter there for my students. What I might like to do as well whilst I'm doing that is to add in some sticky notes on the side, so some prompts for them to think about. So what is it you like to get when you receive a letter? So just to have some prompts there, maybe even as well, I might like to say capital letters. Oh. And I can go through, select a different color if I want to. And if I want to add multiple prompts, or if I want to use multiple sticky notes, one of the great ways is just simply pressing enter. This will allow you to keep creating multiple sticky notes without having to go back and forth to the tool there. So I can go ahead and put in full stops. And again, I can keep these all the same color, or I can color code them. So it can be quite helpful for students to be able to see exactly what it is that you're looking for. And again, I'll just pop that down there. I can do that as I work through. You'll also notice down the bottom that I've got stickers. So you might like to do any sort of stickers to sort of highlight key things that you're looking for them to include or to not include, as well as some stars and maybe some key information that you want them to address whilst they're going through. So again here, one of the common things that we're starting to see more and more is the use of infographics in teaching. So having icons that students can refer to when they're doing an instructional task. So rather than simply writing a long set of instructions for students, but actually using those visual icons. And that's where that assistive drawing tool comes really in handy, because you can get creative and start to think about creating your own icons that you could use as well. So for example, if you were doing text-to-text connections, you may even think about doing a text-to-world connection. And again, you'll see my brilliant drawing skills coming out now. So I've got that there. And again, equally, anything that I want to add, I can use that text-to-text. So what would you like to know? And you'll see that that's then put it down there. Now, if I want to put it all in one line, I can drag that to the end like that and then resize that whole sentence there. So that's a nice way, especially if you want to get a long bit of text onto your Jamboard slide there, you do have that option. It's also worth mentioning that with any of these Jamboard slides, they can be duplicated, and you can also go in and change that background as well. So you've got that, and you can apply that either to all of them or just individual slides as well. Anything that you do as well within Jamboard can be exported as an image. So if you want to use this as just an image and nothing more, you can just share this frame as an image, and you can then either save it to Google Drive, share it to Google Classroom straight away, or equally save it to files. So you've got that option, and you can just press once, and that will then put it in your drive, and then you just press save. So that is then there for you to use. It also means you can use that image then as a background to then use across another Jamboard if you wanted to. And you'll also notice as well that you can share it as a PDF. So if you want to export this out at the end, then you've got that ability as well. So going into a few more, starting to look at maths. So again, probably the key thing to point out here is that you've got the dot reference as well as the grid reference there that can be used. What's really nice about the grid reference there is that when you zoom in, obviously those grid references do increase. So it's a nice way to sort of highlight any information there, as well as being able to create graphs and things as well. I should highlight as well, sorry, that these the clocks and the calendar are just in the stickers section. And if you tap on the phone icon here, you'll see that there's a range of different templates there that can be used. And you can then go in and annotate over the top of them as well. So that's a really nice way to be able to use those there. This is actually one, so it could be one of your teacher's lessons. I've just taken it from just to sort of show you, again, how easy it is to be able to go through and do any annotations during the lesson. Oh, wrong tool there. We're still on the assistive drawing. There we go. So I can go in and talk to the students about if they're working out groups of 6 hearts and they'll want to be starting to group them together to make it easier for them to count as they go through. Again, being able to sort of add in sticky notes. So you might give them a prompt. And then I can just take that and position it down the bottom as a prompt for the students to refer back to when they're going through. Again here, what is the time on the clock? So this is one that can be done either collaboratively or just from a teacher-led perspective. So you might have them on and you can get the students either to add sticky notes to put in what the time is. And this is just done easily by using the image search and then looking for clocks. And again, you'll have some times that will appear, and then it's just as simple as drag and drop those in and then hide that bar there. And again, just pinching to resize. So if I want to take over that one, I can do that there as well. Again, another maths idea, being able to mark fractions on a line. Always handy to note that if you want to get a perfect straight line, if you just use the maths draw tool and draw a line, it's always going to level out to a straight flat line. That's also really helpful if you want to split your page. So for example, if I just add a page in really quickly here, I might want to divide my page up into 3 columns to separate out some ideas for my students to think about, you know, what I want to know, what I and thinking of those areas, I can break that down even further for them as well. That also means that they've got the freedom to be able to use sticky notes to populate those ideas around as well. Again here, just using some coins, I can use those images and then just duplicate them and give my students a problem Again, if I'm just using this in distance learning, then I can use this as a means to focus my problem for my students. And then I can set them up with their own copy of this in Google Classroom so that they've got their ability to actually go through and put their answers on, so that they don't actually have to all be on the same one. You can set them up with their own set of these slides. And what I'd always recommend is that you, for every question, if you don't leave enough room, that you always add a slide after for them to include their answers as well. But what's also worth noting is that that move tool does allow you to go around and select content like so. And then if you pinch it, you can make that smaller. So just like so, you'll see I've gone from having a full screen to suddenly being able to use more of that space there. So if I'm thinking about students being able to work on this, I can do that there as well. Again here, just a simple Venn diagram. So if you've got a Venn diagram that's in a PDF or in your Google Drive, you can just go ahead and start using that. Again, any kind of drag and drop is a really nice way, especially with younger students, to be able to use. And they can actually just take those in straight away. And to be able to add more, obviously, if you just keep pressing enter, you'll instantly create all of those sticky notes as well. So a great one to be able to use there. Jumping into some English ideas. So using the template, this is a nice way just to sort of really quickly create a story prompt. Now, this is simply just using sticky notes. So you could get the students to think about the picture here, give them a prompt about exactly what's going on at the start, and then ask them to use those sticky notes again to just create a simple draft of a story with a beginning, middle, and end as a draft before they actually go in to then start to create and write that story as well. Again here, another one to do with prepositions. Now, this can be a great way to use that laser pointer. So again, we could think, okay, where is the cat hiding behind the computer? Where is the dog in front? So we can start to use those prepositions there. For the students, we can easily get them to actually use those sticky notes and add in which one for as they go around each particular image. And they can put those sticky notes scattered around the pictures as well. Again here, some adjectives, get the students to simply move and match those adjectives up together. And then being able to use those sticky notes to be able to move them, and using different colors as well is also a really helpful way to get them to differentiate. So you might like to use it as a way for having different students working together. You might also do it as a way to sort of have differences as well between your terms. Again, another piece of writing, this has just come from a PDF. Equally, any material that you have, you'll always be able to import it in. As long as it's an image or it's within your Google Drive, you can easily just upload that straight in using that Drive content or using the camera, which will allow you to upload any content from your device as well. So if you go and do a Google search, you can't find what you're looking for because you'll know that the images that within are in Jamboard are copyright-free images, so you won't get that full Google image search as if you go onto the web. So you might like to save particular images to be able to use as you create your Jamboards as well. And this is just to show you just how easy it is to be able to add any Drive content as well. So if I go in and tap on my Drive content and go to recent, I can look for example, slide deck that I've got here. And again, I just have to press on expand once that comes through. And then I can scroll in, take a slide out, and then just pinch to zoom in to give some ideas straight away. So if I ever want to pull up something really quickly and then do any annotations over the top, then I've got that ability. As long as I don't have any other clutter on my slide there, it just makes it really easy to be able to do that. And again, just using those prompts there. Now, I know that I've sped through, and the reason for that is because it's all well and good that I lead you through sort of some examples of how you can do this. But I think the best part is being able to get you on to collaborate with it. So I've set up a collaborative Jamboard just here. So let me just jump back. It's also worth noting that if you're not using the Jamboard apps, you'll notice that the Jamboard app has some more functionality than the Chrome version of it. So if you're on the Chrome version, you'll still be able to use it, but you just get limited functionality there. So you'll see here, let's just jump back for a second. So on this one here, when I open that up, there we go, that I can only add in images or sticky notes. So if that's all I want to do, I can just use it from the Chrome version, but I always recommend going in through the app before. So I'm just going to simply share this with you all. So all I need to do is just share it with Leo Academy Trust and then just tap on edit. So if you all want to go ahead and open up the Jamboard app now, you'll be able to get on to this collaborative Jamboard. And the instructions are on that yellow sticky note. So please go ahead, find a sticky note, and then share your role, just so I can do a little bit of a get to know you. There are 60 of you on, so we'll see how we go. If I need to, I'll add another slide in so that we can all collaborate. But it would be great to see sort of the mix of age ranges that you've got there. Have you all been able to get on?
Rachel, do you want to just share the link to that in the chat?
Yep.
So for those of you that don't know, on the right-hand side in Hangouts, there's like a little chat symbol. It's like a box with some speech bubbles with some lines in. If you just click on that, then Rachel will post a link to the Jamboard any second.
I've lost the chat. Let me just jump in here and do it. So I can see one person's on. So please go and take a sticky note once you're on, and then you'll be able to use that auto draw. Just bear with me whilst I copy that link in. Okay, that's in the chat now, so you'll be able to click on and go on to there. And fantastic. So I can start to see the all on now. So please go ahead and grab one of those sticky notes and then pop in your name and then which grade you teach or what your role is in the school. And then you can use that auto draw to share your favorite animal. Go ahead and find a photo of where you're from as well. Okay, so what I'll do then, because I've never had I've never had 60 people on the same one. So I'm just going to go and make a copy of it, and I'll pop that into the chat. So if you can't get on just yet, just give me a second to make a copy of it, and then you'll be able to go on. Just bear with me. Google Docs has just come through as an error, so I do apologize. Yeah, Graham, thank you. Natasha, so you'll get the features if you're using the Jamboard app. So that should be at the bottom rather than going through Chrome. So you don't need to send the Jamboard to me. If you want to save it as a picture, then you just go ahead and share this frame as an image, or share the jam as a PDF. If you're using the auto draw function, you need to tap on the pencil and then go down to assistive drawing tools, and then use that last one there with the star on that pencil. That allows you to create it there. Yeah, Emma, sorry, my Chromebook has just stopped. So I'm just trying to make a copy. Please bear with me. I do apologize. This is what happens when Graham doesn't tell you that there's going to be 60 people on a webinar. So I'm going to move on to the second slide, and I know that you're all still trying to go on that first one. So on the second one now, you'll see that I've put in some ideas about problem solving, work, communication, critical thinking, creativity, and literacy. So if you'd like to, take a sticky note and just jot around some ideas that you think you could use Jamboard for there. So Shakina, you don't need to give you your the work. It is a collaborative thing within Jamboard. So once your ideas are on there, I'll be able to see them anyway. So I'm just going to put a blank Jamboard into the chat. So if you haven't been able to get on, if you just want to share your ideas on this one, that way at least there we'll have those ideas there and I can pull them all together after. I do apologize again.
Rachel, can you just check the sharing on that new one?
Yeah, just refresh it. I just shared it as view only first, just to make sure we didn't have everyone jump on at the same time. Is that okay now?
Yep, that's working fine.
Perfect. Fantastic. So I'm getting some brilliant ideas happening now. So I'm going to move on to the third one, which I can see some of you have already started with. So please take a sticky note for this one and share your birthday on the timeline. So again, I'll set that up for the other one as well, so that if you haven't been able to get on, that you'll still have that there. And again, this is a nice way for students to be able to create a timeline really quickly. So you can just add in, this is just simply an image of a timeline there, and you can use those sticky notes and you can even use that draw tool to be able to move those around there like so. And you'll notice that, like, as we're going through, one of the things that often tends to happen is people end up being on the wrong tool and forget. So whenever you want to move anything, just make sure you are on that move icon. That allows you to easily move those things across the screen there as well. So again, I'm just going to keep moving on. Feel free to either come back or continue. So the next one that I'm looking at is a disadvantages and benefits that you've found so far from distance learning. So please feel free to add those on. Again, just using those sticky notes. And I think one of the nice things about using a disadvantages or advantages like this is that it's a nice way to be able to sort of get students to do a thumbs up on ideas as well. So you'll remember that in that stickers down the bottom, if someone's maybe done an idea already, maybe you're going to give them a thumbs up on that idea, so it's there. So you can always go back and do that as well. And again, moving on to the next one. So this is just a bit of a group task to get you to have an opportunity to work sort of collaboratively and just have a go at being able to add in some Drive content. So if you want to just pop your name on one of the sticky notes that's there, and so if you just double tap on one of them and then add in your name, and then if you just find that corresponding group by just tapping on the top, or alternatively, if you just want to grab one of the numbers across the top and go through, you can see here there's various slides available. You can only have up to 20 slides per Jamboard, so that's just sort of worth keeping in mind that you are limited in that aspect there. So again, for this task, simply just have a go at adding in a PDF or Google Slides that you have in your Google Drive. Or I've also mentioned adding in some images directly. Now, what I'm going to do is, whilst you either continue to get started on that, I'm going to just talk through one really cool tool that you can do using Jamboard. So I'm just going to leave you working on that one, and I'm going to jump back into my template here. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a new slide. And I know that you have Equatio turned on. So what's really nice is that if I'm using the web version of Jamboard, so if I just come back to the previous one, and I'm going to open up this one here. So if I open up a brand new doc, so if I just go to docs.new, and then if I tap onto the Equatio extension at the top of the screen, what's really nice is that I can use Insert Math by using the math space down the bottom here. So when I tap onto that, this will then allow me to add in any manipulatives, or fractions or shapes that I want to use with my students. And I can then copy and paste these directly onto Jamboard. So for example, if I was looking at fractions, I can go ahead and take that fractions bar, pop it in. Now that's automatically going to come out as 5, but I can change that segment here to, say, for example, let's go 10. And then I can shade maybe 6 of those. And then I can go ahead again, and this time I'm going to use a fraction circle. This way I can make sure that my students really understand their knowledge of fractions, and I can see, okay, do they understand which fraction is larger? Once I've done that, I simply just tap on Insert Math, and that'll then copy and paste it directly into my Google Doc. So at this point, all I need to do is just Control-C on my keyboard to copy, and I can come into my Jamboard here. And then I simply just press Control-V. So if I'm making any maths lessons, this is a really useful way to be able to have that content there that's ready to go. And then I can go ahead and add in any questions. I can add in my sticky notes. And that's not all. So within the math space, obviously they've got those fractions there. You also have that ability to do any graphing, and you've also got a wide range of shapes. Now, when you open it up, you'll see that there's probably not that many shapes there. But if you tap on more shapes, is that you've got a whole range of shapes in here. You've also got coins. Now, the coins don't look exactly as our UK coins look. So for example, if I just tap onto it, you'll see that they are just the outlines, but might still be useful depending on the kind of task that you're looking at, whether it's pertaining to, do they actually know what the coin is, or are you looking at the value there? Again, if I keep coming down here, I've got my 3D shapes I've got pattern blocks as well. So any of these, I can then just tap on a individual shape, and I can copy and paste those. So if I wanted to create a series of patterns for my students to identify what would be the next object within there, I've got that ability to do that there. And as you'll see that as I keep going down, you've even got Venn diagrams. So if you want a really quick Venn diagram to be able to use in Jamboard to maybe do a shape sort, that you've got that ability there. So you don't actually have to go and find a Venn diagram, find the shapes that you're looking for. If you just use that Equatio extension and then insert maths, you've got that ability to do it straight away as well. And you can see there that there's more 3D shapes as you go further down, as well as some different icons that are available there. Scales as well, a clock face. So that's always helpful to know, as well as things like fraction bars and fraction shapes as well. So does anyone have, oh, how do I get on? So Natasha, just to get on to Equatio, you should have it in your extensions at the top. If you don't see it, if you just tap on the 3 dots at the end here, sometimes it is hidden, sorry, I should say. And again, equally, if you drag that, sometimes those extensions are hidden underneath. So you'll see that they appear here if that hasn't come up on your screen there. I'm not sure, Graham, if you can chime in. Is Equatio pushed out to all the teachers?
He's not there, but it is. It definitely is.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's all right.
So does anyone have any questions? If you want to either unmute yourself or pop any questions that you have into the chat as well. One sort of last thing that I'll mention that's really handy if you are using Google Classroom. So I'm just going to open that up now. And I'm just going to quickly set up a class here just to show you. Here we go. Oh, I need to create, sorry. Oh, okay, I might not be able to because I'm not set up as a teacher. I'll need to check why that is, because I definitely have gone as a teacher. So once you're all in and you've got your class set up within Jamboard, you can easily then push that out and set it up as an assignment. And when you assign it to your students, you get that option to make a copy. So if you want to have a Jamboard set up that the students can actually work on when you upload it, because all of your Jamboard files are saved directly within your Google Drive, you can go ahead and tap onto it and then make a copy for each student. Does anyone have any other questions or things that they weren't able to do? I'm just going to have a look through and see. Was everyone able to add in something from their Google Drive? Yep. So if I want to use Equatio, I need to be in Jamboard in the Chrome. So I can just go jamboard.google.com and I need to have a new doc open. Once that's open, I just use the Equatio extension at the top. And then the toolbar will come up at the bottom of my screen. To insert any shapes or material there, I tap on Insert Math Space. Graham, yes, you can push a Jamboard out to Google Classroom whilst on a Meet call. It's just exactly the same as if you were to create a normal assignment. So once that's set up, all you need to do to add in any shapes is tap on Smart Shapes. You've got those, for example, the fraction circle. And then once I'm happy with that, I simply use this one at the top to insert it. That will then pop it into my document. Let's try that again. There we go. And then once that's inserted in there, if you then tap onto it, Control-C to copy, and then come back into your Jamboard, and then just simply paste. So Control-V to paste. Cheryl, can you tell me what the problem is when you're doing it through Classroom?
Hi, Rachel.
Hi.
Yeah, so over the last sort of couple of weeks, well, mainly since distance learning started, every time we try to upload Jamboard assignments, it keeps rejecting it and just saying it can't process it, and then you have to keep doing it about 3 or 4 times before it will upload.
Okay, I haven't been aware of that, but I'll definitely feed it back to Google and say that that's happening, because that's definitely the first time I've heard of people having problems with it.
Okay, thank you.
That's all right. So for the drawing tool, all you need to do, is, let's just come back in here. So I tap onto that pencil in the left, and then where it says Assistive Drawing Tools, simply tap onto there, and then it's that last one there to use the Assistive Drawing Tools. But yeah, as a lot of you have just chimed in and said, you need to make sure you are in the app there. And not in the Chrome version. And you'll notice whether you're in the app or not, because you'll see that extra plus sign on the side there. Graham, there's not, but what you could do is if you set up folders within your drive, and then each time you want to create a new lot of Jamboards, if you do it directly within that folder, that would be my suggestion. Because at least that way they're then all organized in one location. Not in the app though. So feel free to stick around and ask any questions. I don't think Graham's got anything else to say, unless he wants to chime in. But otherwise, thanks so much for joining. It's been a pleasure training you all. I do apologise for the technical faults at the start, and a learning curve for me working with 60 of you. So thank you. I'm looking forward to properly meeting you all in person when all of this is over.
Just going to chip in there, Rachel, and just to say, Cheryl from CCJ is doing some Jamboard training this week on, I want to say Friday. So if you kind of want to do any more follow-up, then I think that's going to be circulated today, this evening, or tomorrow morning, the details of the kind of training coming up. But yeah, no, thank you for everybody for coming.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome. Hi, Natasha. I've just seen your question. Sorry. What did you want to know about the tangrams?
Hi, Rachel. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi there. I thought I'd leave all my really weird specific maths questions until the end. I'm hoping to do some sort of virtual sort of maths challenges coming up, things that we were sort of scheduled to do, but obviously all got cancelled. And one of them was manipulating tangrams and pentominoes. Graham and I had a sort of hilarious night where we were sort of trying to work out if we could do this online or find it online, and we managed to find a sort of top marks thing that had it, but it was quite specific. I've noticed on the equatio you've got the tangrams and pentominoes, and I'm looking at them now. How would it be possible that, or would it be possible that we copied them onto a Jamboard with sort of shadow overlays or whatever, but how would it be that lots of different children could access it at the same time but not be doing it on the same Jamboard? Would they have to sort of download it themselves, make their own copy? I'm just imagining how it's going to work with sort of hundreds of children.
Yeah, so are they all in a Google Classroom?
I'm going to assume so, yes.
Because if they're in Google Classroom, then what I'd suggest is, depending on sort of the size, either to separate it out and make sort of smaller groups that are working on it. As if you don't want them looking at each other's, then I would limit it that way, so that it's basically just one slide that they'd be manipulating, and set that up as an assignment and make a copy for each student.
Sure. If we're doing it across all the academies, though, how would it that we are doing it a copy for each student for the whole of Key Stage 2? Would that be possible?
So you'd probably want to make a copy for each year group then within Key Stage 2.
Okay.
So that you don't, because obviously you want to make sure that they all are able to access their own copy. And if you're trying to do that over the whole academy, I think that would be too many at once.
That's what I thought. Is it possible that we could, the same way that I just got the tangrams and pentominoes up, are they able to, if we, maybe, I don't know, the older ones, are they able to get them up?
It depends if they've got the extension.
Okay, I'm actually not sure.
Brian?
Sorry, what extension was it?
The equatio extension.
Yeah, that's deployed at a root level.
So children have it?
Yeah.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I could show some of the older ones how to get it, because I've had a go and I've got it up on my screen now, and it's really cool to manipulate. I'm wondering how I could put sort of the shadow overlays that they could sort of turn it onto. But yeah, I was just wondering how it would work on the whole school. But great, thank you. Thanks very much.
If you did your overlay within, so perhaps if you did an image overlay, so if you created your own image overlay that you're getting them to create, and then set it as that file backdrop, and then put your tangrams over the top, that might work. I've never done it, but that would be my sort of recommendation there.
Okay, and would they each manipulate their own tangram page, if you like?
Yeah.
Okay, and we would just sort of do it year group so they can all get onto it.
Yeah.
And would they download it to make their own copy?
So if it's set up in Google Classroom, then that automatically makes a copy for each student anyway. So they don't need to download to make a copy. It automatically does that.
Oh, okay, great. Cool. I will work on that then.
Let me know how you go.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I realised I probably should have stopped recording ages ago.
No, that's fine.